Have you ever felt the room get quiet, and the silence scares you more than the noise? We're told that walking alone is failure, that solitude is a punishment. But what if that silence is a doorway? What if the path without applause is where your real voice returns? Imagine a bridge at dawn, the city still asleep, sky deep blue, a warm band of gold on the horizon. On that bridge stands you, no audience, no verdicts, only breath and heartbeat. In that hush, strength wakes. Not the loud kind, the steady kind, the kind that builds a life. Tonight we begin with a question. What does your soul sound like when no one else is speaking? Maybe your mornings start with alarms and opinions. Group chats buzzing, timelines shouting, bosses and family needing answers now. You reach for the phone before water, collecting other people's priorities before your own. In meetings, you nod though something inside says no. At night, you scroll because stillness feels unsafe. You are not weak. You're wired by a world that confuses connection with dependence. But notice those rare, stone-gray minutes when you pause. The city softens, your mind unknots. A warm, golden thread of clarity appears. You begin to sense a different way, less permission-seeking, more purpose-led. This video is for that part of you that knows your life can be guided from the inside out. Enter Stoicism, the discipline of inner freedom. Marcus Aurelius kept a private journal, reminding himself that a good life needs little and begins in the mind. Seneca turned constraint into wisdom, teaching that endings seed new beginnings. Epictetus, once a slave, proved that events are weaker than our judgments about them. These were not statues but humans under pressure who chose mastery over noise. Their counsel is compassionate structure. Focus on what you control, live by principles, practice courage, accept reality, act with calm strength. We'll borrow their lanterns to light a modern road through screens, deadlines, and doubt. Here's my promise. In the next chapters, we'll forge 7 disciplines for a sovereign life: sacred solitude, freedom from opinion, the strength of self-reliance, failure as your private university, building an inner fortress, the courage to disappoint, and victory through self-mastery. Each principle comes with story, reflection, and practical steps you can use today. No fluff, just a clear path you can walk at your pace. By the end, you won't fear walking alone. You'll choose it when needed and return to others with more love, clarity, and power. Ready? Take one calm breath. The way of the Stoic Warrior begins now. Principle 1. Sacred solitude. Solitude is not emptiness. It is the furnace of clarity. Most fear being alone, so they fill silence with noise, scrolling, or constant chatter. But the Stoics taught, in solitude, the masks fall and the raw self emerges. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Alone, you can hear your inner compass whisper, free from the roar of opinion. To the Stoic warrior, solitude is sacred space. The gym where the soul trains, the library where wisdom is born, the sanctuary where courage grows. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Solitude sharpens this truth. Happiness doesn't arrive from the crowd's approval. It is cultivated in the quiet garden of the mind. When you dare to stand alone, you prove to yourself that you already possess what others chase: self-respect, direction, and peace. Picture Seneca exiled to a lonely island. Stripped of courtly chatter, he found wisdom in silence. Or imagine the modern traveler, on a solo journey. No phone, no company, just wind against stone cliffs, ocean breathing in and out. At first, fear surfaces, but slowly, a different voice emerges, not panic, but power. Alone, he discovers not weakness, but depth. Like a warrior training unseen, solitude becomes the unseen strength behind every future victory. Begin with 5 minutes of sacred solitude each morning. No phone, no music, just breathing, observing thoughts without judgment. Walk without earbuds, eat one meal in silence, or journal beneath a stone-gray sky. Solitude is not isolation, it is calibration. You align with your values, hear your real voice, and re-enter the world stronger. This daily practice builds the foundation of freedom. Principle 2. Others' opinions don't define you. Most of life is spent chained to invisible critics. Parents' expectations, friends' doubts, strangers' comments. The Stoic Warrior breaks free, knowing this. What others think of me is none of my business. Epictetus taught that suffering comes not from events, but our judgments. When people criticize, they reveal their own fears, not your worth. Freedom begins when you stop playing to the gallery and start living for the mirror. Eleanor Roosevelt, echoing Stoic truth, said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." Epictetus sharpened it further. Insults harm only if you agree to carry them inside. Their words are air, your judgment is the weight. To live free, weigh only your own conscience. Imagine a young artist whose family dismisses her work as foolish. She hides her canvases, tries to conform, but her spirit dims. One day, she paints anyway, not for approval, but for truth. That act ignites her life. The Stoics remind us, most who judge have abandoned their own dreams. Their disapproval is projection, not prophecy. When you stop borrowing their fears, you reclaim your freedom. Start small. Wear something you love though others frown. Share an unpopular but honest idea. Say no when pressured to please. Each act trains your opinion immunity. Ask yourself daily, if no one were watching, what would I choose? Then choose it. The Stoic Warrior isn't reckless. They're free. They live from inner compass, not borrowed maps. Principle 3. The strength of self-reliance. Self-reliance is not selfishness, it is sovereignty. To depend fully on others for stability or worth is to surrender your freedom. The Stoic Warrior learns to stand on his own feet so he may lift others with steady hands. Ralph Waldo Emerson, inspired by Stoic thought, wrote, "Nothing can bring you peace but the triumph of principles." Self-reliance means you choose to be whole, not waiting for someone else to complete you. It is the foundation of authentic love, authentic service, and authentic life. Epictetus declared, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To the Stoic, freedom is not given. It is claimed by discipline. You can borrow money, borrow ideas, even borrow comfort, but never borrow character. True peace comes when you no longer outsource your strength. When you master reliance on your own reason, your own courage, and your own principles, no empire can enslave you. Imagine the safety instruction on an airplane. Put on your oxygen mask before assisting others. It is not cruelty, it is wisdom. If you collapse, you cannot serve. Marcus Aurelius bore the weight of an empire, yet turned inward daily to steady his mind before guiding Rome. The modern parallel, a leader, a parent, a friend who first grounds themselves in clarity before extending help. Self-reliance is oxygen for the soul. Only when you breathe your own strength can you give life to others. Practice self-reliance daily. Cook a nourishing meal for yourself. Learn basic financial discipline. Build emotional sovereignty. Pause before reacting. Process your feelings without needing rescue. Spiritually, explore meaning on your own. Read, reflect, meditate. The goal isn't isolation. It is strength that chooses connection freely. Start by identifying one area where you lean too heavily on others. Take a single step toward independence there. Self-reliance makes you not less connected, but more capable of loving from abundance, not from lack. Principle 4. Failure is your private university. Most people run from failure, hide it, or deny it. But the Stoic Warrior treats failure as tuition, the price of wisdom. Thomas Edison said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Failure is not the enemy of success. It is the curriculum of success. In solitude, you sit with setbacks and ask, what is this teaching me? To the Stoic Warrior, failure is not shame. It is education, a private university where every mistake is a lesson written in fire. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Obstacles are not detours. They are the road itself. Each failure reveals what cannot be forced and what must be strengthened. Epictetus reminded us that events don't break us. Our judgments about them do. Failure, reframed, becomes a forge. The Stoic does not collapse in defeat. He rises refined. Imagine a blacksmith. Every strike on the iron seems destructive, yet each blow shapes strength. Edison's 1,000 failed bulbs were not wasted. They were sparks of progress. Or picture a young athlete losing again and again before victory, each failure refining discipline. The Stoic Warrior conducts a failure audit. What was within my control? What was not? What can I improve next? In this university, failure is not humiliation, but homework. Next time you fail, resist the urge to scroll away or bury it. Instead, schedule time to face it. Write down, what choices did I control? What assumptions proved false? What strength did this failure build? Treat failure as a teacher, not a verdict. Each analysis adds to your private library of resilience. Over time, you become anti-fragile, stronger because of failure, not despite it. This is the hidden advantage of the Stoic Warrior. Others quit, you learn. Principle 5. Building your inner fortress. Life will bring storms, insults, losses, betrayals. Most collapse because they've built no walls within. The Stoics called it the inner citadel, a fortress of mind that no enemy can breach without permission. Epictetus said, "No one can hurt you without your consent." Your fortress is not isolation, but sovereignty. When chaos rises, the warrior retreats inward, not to escape, but to command. Within those stone-gray walls lies clarity, resilience, and freedom untouched by external storms. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. External impressions, harsh words, failures, sudden change, are beyond control. But your judgment about them is yours alone. In your fortress, you decide what meaning they carry. To master judgment is to guard the gates of your citadel. Imagine a fortress with 3 layers. The outer wall is perspective, reminding you that this too shall pass. The middle wall is principle, clear values guiding action. The innermost keep is identity, knowing you are not your titles, possessions, or moods, but the observer of them. Most live without walls, every insult shaking them. But the Stoic Warrior builds stone upon stone until storms only test the strength they've prepared. Begin today by noticing where you give away your keys. Does a rude comment ruin your mood? Does failure break your identity? Reclaim your fortress. Pause before judgment, anchor in your values, and remind yourself, this storm is outside. I remain inside. Build perspective by journaling, reinforce principles by defining your values, and fortify identity by seeing yourself as more than circumstance. The stronger your inner fortress, the freer you are to serve and to love. Principle 6. The courage to disappoint others. To live authentically, you must accept this. Some will be disappointed. The Stoic Warrior understands that pleasing everyone is a betrayal of self. Aristotle warned, to avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. Courage is not just charging into battle. It is saying no when others expect yes. It is choosing your path even if others frown. Disappointment is not a failure. It is a sign that you are finally living by your own values, not by borrowed expectations. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." True growth demands that you endure misunderstanding. Others may call your boundaries arrogance or your choices rebellion, but they reveal more about their fear than your worth. The Stoic Warrior accepts these labels without anger, knowing that integrity shines brighter than approval. Imagine a child told to follow a career they don't want. They face 2 choices: disappoint their parents by choosing their own path, or disappoint themselves by living another's dream. The Stoic Warrior knows the greater betrayal is self-abandonment. Like a tree growing against the wind, disappointment becomes proof of authenticity. In history, every thinker who broke new ground first faced ridicule. Their courage to stand apart gave humanity its greatest gifts. Practice strategic disappointment. You cannot be everything for everyone. Say no to invitations when your soul needs solitude. Refuse gossip though it costs popularity. Uphold standards even when others call you rigid. Communicate kindly, but hold firm. Ask yourself, whose disappointment matters more, mine or theirs? Each time you choose integrity over approval, you strengthen your courage muscle. The Stoic Warrior knows, better to disappoint others briefly than to disappoint yourself forever. Principle 7. Victory through self-mastery. The world celebrates conquering others, defeating rivals, winning applause. But the Stoic Warrior knows the greatest conquest is within. Lao Tzu wrote, "He who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty." Self-mastery is not suppression, it is sovereignty. It means directing your impulses instead of being dragged by them. Each time you choose patience over rage, discipline over distraction, clarity over confusion, you win. This is the victory no one can steal. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Self-mastery is the realization that your thoughts, emotions, and choices belong to you. External triumphs fade. Inner discipline endures. The Stoic Warrior is not enslaved by anger, desire, or fear. He commands them as tools, never as masters. Picture a warrior on the battlefield, enemies closing in. The true fight is not outside but within. The surge of fear, the impulse to flee, the anger to strike blindly. He breathes, recalls his training, and acts with calm precision. That is mastery. In modern life, the battlefield may be traffic, criticism, or temptation. The one who controls his reactions is undefeatable, even if he loses battles outside. The inner throne is the only throne that matters. Begin small. Notice one reaction you often give automatically: anger at criticism, distraction when stressed. Pause, breathe, and choose. Replace the autopilot with awareness. This is the muscle of mastery, built rep by rep, choice by choice. Self-mastery means you can want without being controlled by wanting, succeed without being enslaved by success, and fail without being shattered by failure. In mastering yourself, you walk alone, rise alone, and win a victory unshakable. We have walked the 7 paths of the Stoic Warrior: solitude as strength, freedom from opinion, the steadiness of self-reliance, failure as teacher, the fortress within, the courage to disappoint, and victory through mastery. Each principle is not theory but practice, forged in daily choices. Walking alone does not mean isolation, it means freedom. Rising alone does not mean selfishness, it means strength. Winning alone means your victory is internal, unshakable, eternal. The message is simple: the world cannot give you peace, it can only distract you. Peace, power, and clarity are found when you take responsibility for your own mind. Do not wait for permission, applause, or rescue. Step into your sovereignty. Every storm becomes training, every failure a lesson, every disappointment a signal of authenticity. You are stronger than you believe, calmer than you know, freer than you imagine. The Stoic path is hard, but it leads to freedom no one can steal. Take one step today. Practice 5 minutes of solitude. Write down one value you will not betray. Choose one moment to respond with calm instead of reaction. These are not grand gestures. They are bricks laid in your inner fortress. Drop in the comments: I walk alone, I rise alone, I win alone. Share which principle struck you most. Subscribe to continue this journey with us. Remember, every practice is a seed of freedom. Plant it now. This is the way of the Stoic Warrior: alone, strong, and free. Not cut off from others, but rooted in strength to love them better. Not detached from the world, but anchored so the world cannot shake you. Carry this truth forward. The fortress is within, and no storm can take it down. This is Stoic Miracles, ancient wisdom for modern chaos. Walk with us, subscribe, and continue building the life no one can steal.